Should your church have a pastor? This is somewhat of a interesting question because we only see pastor mentioned in the Bible once, and that is in Ephesians 4 verse 11. Most often talks about the chief shepherd, which is Jesus, but then it talks about elders and deacons. So what is a pastor? We often see a pastor as a leader of the church, someone who has planted the church or someone who's overseeing a church. But what does the Bible say about being a pastor? And if we study this topic of a pastor, we actually don't see this description anywhere. Nowhere in the Bible do we read anywhere that the church should have a pastor. What we do read is that we should have pastors and elders, but never is it one person that is a pastor. Everything we see in the Bible, New Testament, is always plural. It's always pastors, elders, deacons, because we never want to have one man ruling. The only man who is ruling over anyone is Christ. He's the one ruling over the church. He's the head. He's the chief apostle. He's the chief pastor. He's the one we all are submitting to. So what is a pastor? Let's look at Ephesians 4:11. It says here that he himself gave some to be apostles, some prophets, some evangelists, some pastors and teachers, for the equipping of the saints, for the work of ministry, for the edifying of the body of Christ, till we all come to the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of God, to perfect man, to the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ, that we should no longer be children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the trickery of men and the cunning craftiness and deceitful plotting, but speaking the truth in love may grow up in all things into him who's the head, Christ. So here we see that the pastor is there to equip the saints for the work of ministry and for the edifying of the body of Christ, till we all come to the unity of the faith. So often we see a pastor also as an elder. But scripturally, a pastor does not have to be an elder. But an elder could be a pastor, okay? So a pastor is not something you become, it's a gift that you've received. Because if we go up a bit further, it says in Ephesians 4:7, but to each one of us grace was given according to the measure of Christ's gift. So Jesus was walking in all of these gifts: apostle, prophet, evangelist, pastor, and teacher. The Lord was walking in all of those 5 things when he was on earth. But then when he ascended, verse 9, when he ascended into heaven, the gifts of Christ came onto the body. Now we have these different gifts that everyone can walk in. So just because someone is a pastor doesn't mean there should be an elder, and it doesn't mean they're leading a church. A pastor is someone who shepherds individuals. A pastor is someone who is shepherding the sheep. He's feeding them, he's watching over them, and this could be an elder because we see this description also of an elder, someone who oversees the church, but it doesn't necessarily have to be an elder. For example, and this might be controversial for some of you, but for a woman, let's say an elderly woman, she can be pastoring other women. She can be responsible for maturing, let's say, a group of ladies or a group of young women. And same with a man. He can be pastoring men. So a pastor is simply a function of someone who is shepherding people. And like I said before, some pastors can be elders, but not every pastor is an elder. So to go back to the question, should a church have a pastor? I mean, it certainly does, because the Lord has given the church pastors, but the role of pastor is not what we see today, where it's one man ruling over a church. That's the function of the elders. A pastor is someone who's been put into ministry to shepherd people, and through that he has gained experience of shepherding people. And then it says he is there to equip the saints for the work of ministry. So he's there to equip other saints on how to pastor other people. So the fivefold ministry is not just there to serve and to keep on serving in their specific function. It's there to equip other saints so they can function the same gift. So the responsibilities and duties are not just one person, but it's on the body of Christ, so we can all come into a perfect man and into the full measure of Christ. So a pastor teaches other people how to pastor. The apostle teaches others how to be an apostle. The prophet teaches other people how to prophesy. The evangelist teaches other people how to evangelize. And a teacher teaches people how to teach. So this is what I see biblically, because we've taken one word, pastor, and we've blown it up into something that we don't see. What we do see in scriptures is a group of elders who are leading and overseeing the church and appointing other elders and deacons, etc. So what we have made a pastor to be is actually the role of the elders. And this is never singular, it's always plural. Make sure to watch the next recommended video right here on the screen. And if you want to work with us to prepare your community, fellowship, or church for the Lord's return, visit our website for more information. We provide training, resources, and we equip the saints for the work of ministry so you can live by the life of Christ, be the light in your community, and make disciples.